IndyCar testing continues. Sebring International Raceway hosts testing for the IndyCar Series in 2021 once again, and we're live on location reporting on the day's goings-on. Let's get into it. So, welcome to Sebring International Raceway. I figure I would add an extra trip, or an extra day, I guess, an extra trip and an extra day to my Rolex 24 at Daytona content trip because, well, this was too good to pass up. As you can see, we've got probably less than an hour to go here in testing at Sebring International Raceway. Most of the field is here today. Not the whole field. Notably absent is the Chip Ganassi Racing Team, AJ Foyt Racing Team, Dale Coyne Racing, as well as Carlin Motorsports. But this was the first time this season that we've seen, or this year I should say, Team Penske and Aero McLaren SP testing at this track. In all, there's 14 cars here, which is about 10 cars away from what we're kind of expecting for this season. So who was here and who wasn't here? I think that's a good baseline to start on before we get into it too heavily. So testing for Andretti Autosport, we had Ryan Hunter-Reay, Alexander Rossi in his new pink AutoNation colors, and boy, that car is easy to spot this year. I think last year it was a little bit harder to spot. Colton Herta in the Gainbridge colors, and this was a real surprise and something we're going to have to really talk about. Fresh off a Rolex 24 win. Of course, Alexander Rossi is also fresh off an overall win at the Rolex 24. But it's Oliver Askew for Andretti Autosport. Now, this is a one-time deal, at least at this point, for Mr. Askew. But it could, and I say could, turn into something bigger. We're going to have to wait and see. We also had Team Penske here. Scott McLaughlin, obviously, if you're clicking on this YouTube video, you're probably wanting to know how Scott's doing. Scott was here. Joseph Newgarden was here, sporting the number 2 rather than the number 21. Of course, Simon Pagenaud as well, and Will Power in new colors to road racing outside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Verizon 5G livery. Then, of course, we had Aero McLaren SP, their first time on track in 2021, featuring Pato O'Ward and Felix Rosenqvist in those weird testing liveries. We also saw Ed Carpenter racing, Rinus VeeKay, and Connor Daly. I almost forgot Connor Daly's name. How silly of me. And we also had Rahal Letterman Lanigan with Graham Rahal and Takuma Sato. Very basic liveries for those cars as well. I think that was everybody. If not, I'll insert some middle thing into this video if I forgot anybody. But I don't think I forgot anybody. It's been a long day. It's been a long week, folks. So, lots of musings from this test. So, I don't have exact lap times to give you guys, and I apologize for that. I have a general idea of who is fast and who is not. 4 names I'll throw out there, and I'm pretty sure the first one I can pretty easily say was the quickest here. Pato O'Ward for Aero McLaren SP. Apparently went very fast today, or is continuing to go very fast today. I think that's picking up where he left off last year. Not really a surprise. Alexander Rossi, we already know he was fast here at this racetrack earlier in testing. He's right there as well. Joseph Newgarden, again, not a surprise considering Sebring is essentially a place you can test for street courses. He's coming off the win in St. Pete at the end of the year. And Colton Herta is up there as well, lap time-wise. Again, what else did you expect? It looks like Andretti Autosport is going to be very strong. In fact, believe it or not, Oliver Askew is right up there as well. He's close, as far as I know, to the lap times that his former car is setting in the hands of Felix Rosenqvist right now. Essentially, they're even in terms of lap times. And really, Askew's up in the top half of the field. And I guess we'll start there, since we're talking about Andretti Autosport and Oliver Askew. So a lot of people are confused as to why Oliver is in the car. And what's kind of funny is Andretti Autosport has two drivers who were not only participating in the Rolex 24 yesterday and are now on track today, but both of those drivers won the race. In fact, they had three with Colton Herta, so 2 out of the 3 won the race. Sorry, Colton. But the fact that Oliver Askew is in the car today is definitely an interesting story. So apparently James Hinchcliffe has been in Canada, and as we know, Marco Andretti was testing the car here 2 weeks ago, and apparently Hinchcliffe could not make it into the country. Now, I don't believe that's necessarily COVID-related in the sense that James Hinchcliffe has COVID. I'm certainly not claiming that. I think it's more of just travel restrictions made it impossible for him to make it down here in time, and Oliver Askew was obviously ready, willing, and able. Now, that being said, I think Oliver Askew is absolutely deserving of a second chance, and I will 100% admit my bias here. I like the guy. I know he watches the videos here, and he's been very nice to me in the past. At the same time, I did see, and I'm not claiming that I had anything to do with what's going on track right now, but when I saw that the 98 was available, or at least Marco wasn't going to be in it, the first person I texted was Oliver Askew. If Kyle Larson can come back from what he came back from, and granted, yes, no doubt about it, Oliver Askew made a mistake last year. I think he deserves a second chance, and I think he's proving exactly what I think a lot of us know, is that he's a very fast guy. And if you give him the right car, that talent is going to rise to the top. And that's what makes me hopeful that he'll get another opportunity in IndyCar. He was fantastic in the Rolex yesterday, I almost said last night. Well, pretty much was last night. But again, I hope that he'll get another opportunity, maybe with Andretti Autosport. But again, I don't think we should read too much more into this with at least Andretti right now. Ultimately, James Hinchcliffe and he are represented by the same company, and that's more than likely the reason why Askew was tapped as the replacement. Now, we got to talk about the back half of the field, or at least the back half of the field as things stand right now in testing. And as far as I know, there are a couple of names that are down there right now for whatever reason. Again, it's testing. You can't read into things too greatly, but Scott McLaughlin is down in the bottom half of the field. Simon Pagenaud is down in the bottom half of the field. Takuma Sato is down in the bottom half of the field. Does it indicate that Penske is struggling with their street circuit setups? I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem to be affecting Joseph Newgarden. And we know that McLaughlin, I wouldn't say struggled in his debut at St. Pete on the street course, but at the same time, he was very much thrown into the deep end. And it seems like his kind of next time here on a street circuit style track, that seems to be where he is right now. We know he's talented. I have no doubt that Scott McLaughlin is going to pick this up, and he's going to go right to the front as soon as it clicks. And we saw that pace at Circuit of the Americas last year. I'm not afraid for Scott McLaughlin here. In many ways, the same reason I'm not afraid for Jimmy Johnson, to be honest with you. I think he will eventually get it. I think both of those drivers will eventually get it. Now, McLaughlin certainly has a lot longer to go in his career, so it would make sense that he's probably not only going to pick it up quicker, but he's going to have a much longer lasting career at the front. Ryan Hunter-Reay is one that was interesting in my observation today. For whatever reason, and they could be, again, it's testing. You can't read too much into it. It looked like he was struggling quite a bit for grip. And he's really the car that I noticed the most, kind of going off down here at the hairpin, actually having to go around the old hairpin at this track, locking up the brakes quite a bit more than a lot of the other cars, though it seems like the Andretti Autosport cars are really testing the brakes. They've been the cars that have kind of taken the detour the most today. And yeah, it's great to be back, I have to say. And by the way, the new liveries, that PPG car that just went by in the hands of Scott McLaughlin, it's going to be the livery that he uses for most of the year this year. That is just a fantastic looking car. Really, really good. As well, speaking of, the Will Power 5G Verizon car, it's again good to see the Verizon sticking around. That's a hot looking piece. And apparently will announce today that that's going to be his full season livery for 2021. So I think that's going to make some people happy. It's also interesting to see that the capstone car that we saw testing with Marco Andretti, which is supposed to be driven by James Hinchcliffe at some point in the future, the colors have inverted, and now it says Genesis in big orange letters on the side of the car that's currently piloted by Oliver Askew. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this Sebring test report. Just happened to be a happy accident that I was able to do this, and I'm so glad I was able to. It's not often that you get to say, on February 1st, I was in Sebring, Florida. I just got off the Rolex 24. Jordan Taylor retweeted the Corvette video that Racing Nation TV, aka Kyle Cuthbertson, subscribed to him, shot, and we of course uploaded on my channel. And they knew we were there. I'll put it that way. And hopefully you guys knew I was here as well. Got another video, not just this report, but I also tried to do some raw video. I hope you guys will enjoy that. I kind of took some of the criticism that you guys gave me about the raw footage that I uploaded from the Roar. Tried to use some more tripod shots and Steadicam shots as best I could to try to get some of that shake away, at least until I can get a longer VR lens, which kind of stops some of that shakiness. So we're here in Sebring, Florida. Again, I'm so happy. And by the way, thanks to the 7 Hotel here, for whatever reason, they just let people show up and watch, and they don't kick people out. That sounded like a car that almost spun out. But yeah, they just kind of let us hang out and chill, watch testing. It was great for me. It was much needed, and I can't wait to continue to bring you guys more content. Apparently the Romain Grosjean thing is coming very soon, so I may be doing a truck stop video in very similar circumstances, so look forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more of this content, and I will see you in the next video.